William Barber was saying at Aretha's services the other day from Kings that the prophets of old could not declare truth and justice until the right singer sang. A certain music was needed to open up the windows of heaven so God's voice could be heard on earth. Hallelujah. Well, now we're starting a new theme with a new month here in September, East Bay. And this month's theme is Spiritual Mind Treatment, the Feeling. I know you got the feeling right now because you've been singing, "The Spirit of God is upon me. The Spirit of God is also in me. The Spirit of God is also in you." It's not that you have to be good or that you should be good. It's that you are good. Amen. See? Everybody recognizes truth. It doesn't matter how old you are. Because love is who you are. Say to your neighbor, love is who you are. The only thing that we need to do now is free ourselves up to love. It's already part of our spiritual DNA. It's been clouded over by some experiences, but it's still there underneath. Nobody has to make you love. It's your natural inclination. Everything else is not. As a spiritual being, love is your purpose. Anything else may or can get in the way of your purpose. Love. Everybody has their own style of loving. Some may do tough love. Some may do unconditional love. It's all in that range. But we can't help being loved because that's who we are. Loving God is ecstasy of their extent. I know that's right. When we let ourselves be free to love, it's exhilarating. Now you have come to this place as part of your ascension process. As you transcend the parameters of former boundaries that have defined your existence, you can now begin to reject the view of reality that has kept you limited, so that you can begin to embrace a new perspective. As an incarnation of God, you have been prepared to transcend your physical senses so that you can move into your intuitive nature and your experiential knowing. That's why we have classes. That's why we have authentic conversations. So after all of these eons, you're able to move into a depth of awareness and understanding that may daunt you. Yes. Are you ready to be more? Yes. Oh, that was kind of weak. Are you ready to be more? Yes. I want to invite you to trust this process. Because your soul is already deeply invested, Sherry, in this perfect and divine outcome. This is our destiny. You are a divine spark that is about to be activated. Say to your neighbor, I'm about to be on fire. Now the rate at which this will happen has its own momentum. As you participate in group activities like Sunday services, ministry meetings, and classes, you will become more and more assured of this. This is why we tell you about all this happening, in order to give you an opportunity to be put on fire, set on fire. Energy will be amplified. Sustaining that energy is based on your inner foundation, your soul. The momentum of your growth is rooted in stillness. That's why we have daily meditation, so you can meditate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. So each meditation that you participate in will move you forward. Now I want you to allow the circumstances that present themselves to move you in the direction of your highest good. Say yes to the path of your perpetual power. Now, I'm talking about oneness. The book of the month is Oneness by Rasha. And you know, you have to understand that the structures that you are familiar with will begin to crumble as you embrace oneness. Now, when you move through this adventure, I invite you to support, enlist the support of a practitioner as you move through this process. You know, you can already hear that I'm going deeper this month. And I'm taking you with me. Okay? So that's why we have to have a prayer room, because you're going to need support as you go deeper. Okay? You're going to start to understand that your choices are divinely guided. They're not reckless. So we need support as we climb higher into the next level of looming love. Now that's not like dangerous love. That's looming as emerging, impending love. Love like you never knew that you could do. Love that you never knew that you could have. Love that you never knew that you could be. For even as we move toward love, we have to have the courage to crush fear in the face while we climb to climactic heights. We need support to slap stupidity in the face, to mar mediocrity, and to slay slovenliness. For we are less unkempt in our outer than we are in our inner. We have not been minding the shop of our inner. The shop is not a marketplace where we exchange currency for comfort. The shop is a place where craftsmen care for the critical expression of their consecration. The shop is where kindness, compassion, and cultural clarity are born. I'm not talking about culture as something as terrestrial as race or country, but culture as the ultimate devotion to a divine communication toward purpose. It's time for us to get busy, y'all. That's when your understanding increases. Leaning into the breath as you meditate. Leaning into the breath is leaning into divine wisdom. That's how you transcend the limitations that you used to perceive. Limitations belong to this dense matter planet. That's why we have bodies to navigate on the earth, To navigate in the realm of spirit, we have to go beyond our sensual experiences into the land of I am. A land like Wakanda. See, even though some think that Wakanda is a fictional place, in Wakanda, we're tapping into the real riches, the healing riches. Did you see how that worked in the movie? That restorative riches. That's what we're talking about in Wakanda, where people were awakened so that they could go to those people that they perceived as enemies. What was homeboy's name? M'Baku? They perceived him as an enemy and then realized that by going to see M'Baku that they were in the midst of their own healing, restoring their power, the power that they relied on to lead them. Now, T'Challa was just a symbol of that power. He wasn't the real power. See, he was just that person who represented us ascending into a higher plane. And M'Baku wasn't really the enemy. He was simply the challenge to not simply rely on the mortal body as power. We are more than the power of our mortal body. No, too often we need reminders that our true power lies in the divine. Our awareness is heightened once we have these challenges so that we can have a new way of seeing. We go beyond the formal level of understanding and existence, like what Lisa was describing when she was talking about classes. When you begin to embody this new awareness, you are able to move not simply on one level. You know, when Stevie Wonder was talking about love is the only way at Aretha's funeral, he was letting us know that a new way of being is not simply desired, but required. Were it not for God's goodness, we would have never known the joy of knowing Aretha, he said, right? He said the greatest gift that we've been given is love. Yes. The only thing that can deliver us is love. He asked us to make love great again. Denny sang one of my favorite songs, As. The beautiful part about that song that I love is, until you are me and I am you. So, in the book Oneness, Rasha says, as you extract yourself from your previous life script, you will feel deep compassion for the effects of your actions on the circumstances of others with whom you have shared history in this lifetime. Yet your focus remains clear as your recognition of the shift taking place within you provides the impetus to move forward and to release the ties that would bind you and hold you back. That's right, it's time to put on your big girl panties and your big boy drawers. Because once the initial resistance is overcome, your shift will move into heart-centeredness. I'm ready for some heart-centeredness. I don't know about you. In this state of being, your perception of self and of the world will become intertwined. So that's when you stop talking about, you know, what's going to happen and how messed up this world is and all of this craziness. and you start to realize, not only does the song says, are we the world? We are the world, but we are the co-creators of the world that we are living in. So it's not the world that needs to change. It's us. Sayahamba. Marching in the light. Praying in the light. Dancing in the light. That's where we're headed, y'all. Say to your neighbor, we are marching in the light of God. We're on a mission. Like my president said, that would be the 44th president. So much of our politics pretends to be brave and tough, but is really born of fear. But because perfect love casts out all fear, we know that love is what we need to do. After all we talked about last month, we are no doubt ready to keep our hearts open. Yes? Yes. Now, when President Obama was talking about Senator John Sidney McCain III, he said that John called us to be bigger than that fear, better than that fearful living. Are you willing to risk everything that you know, everything that is familiar, in order to be acquainted with your expanded self? Because what is left after experiences is to manifest a new energy. That's when we get synchronistic. When I was drawn here, when the Sacred Covenant called me here, I knew something bigger than me wanted to expand me in a way that required a set of experiences that I feared embracing. Still do, kind of. You know, keep it real. But see, I'm too familiar with the disharmony I have when I resist the nudges of spirit. So when I started getting calls regarding pulpit openings when I wasn't even looking, I knew something was up. When I got a plea from my 9-to-5 boss to go to California, when I had never been on the traveling trial team, I knew something was up. I had a shorter trip to come up here to candidate. I didn't even have to leave the state. Something that was not by my design was calling for my liberation beyond what was into what will be. Something that had encapsulated my highest desire. Oneness. There were aspects of my being that had been excluded from me that were trying to integrate with the me that I am on the path toward oneness. So we leave important things behind, Rasha said, from time to time. So when you have a moment that seems particularly poignant and you judge it as extreme because, you know, you got all heated or you got excited or you were just really surprised at how fear was just like raging so large. It was probably an aspect of yourself that just caught up with you. It's all right. Yes. Don't censor your experiences. We are fully responsible for our vibrational state of being. It's easy to understand this when we are heart-centered. But even on the low end of your energy spectrum, We cannot numb ourselves into denial. Otherwise, we will invite a set of parallel circumstances into our lives. Your energy field can be a doorway or a shield. We are vulnerable, but nothing is uninvited energetically. Negative thought patterns create a diminished charge to your energy. Do you really want a diminished charge to your energy? You're going to be walking around dragging. We want to have an expansive charge to our energy. Yes. So rather than magnetizing more of the same, maintain a heart-focused intent. Just stop the conscious interaction with anything external to source. And let your awareness guide you to a stillness within. Breathe into your heart and let unconditional love fill you. President Clinton said, Aretha lived with courage, not without fear, but overcoming fear. He said she lived with faith, not without failure, but overcoming failure. He says she lived with power, not without weakness, but overcoming weakness. And that was just a way for us to know that there will be fear, there will be failure, and there will be weakness. But there's something greater in us that's able to overcome all of it. So you don't have to close your heart when hurt comes. You don't have to close your heart when sorrow comes up. You know, I get real clear. I'm like, I need to go sit down somewhere and be with this hurt. And I do. He said, where'd she go? She all right. She taking care of herself. Okay? Sorrow comes. I need to go sit down somewhere and be with that. You know? So when you repress it, you prolong the separation between you and an aspect of yourself that will eventually have to be reconciled. It's gonna happen one way or another. You might as well make it easy by sitting down somewhere and getting still. Because we've got to reintegrate the missing pieces in order to show up whole and complete the journey of the soul. We need the sum totality of our beingness. Not part of it, not a piece of it. We are multi-dimensional beings. We're not limited to a few chosen identities. In a parallel reality, there's a you reaching out to you in order to be integrated. We need to be aware of our own involvement in converting our consciousness. To reach an unprecedented level of consciousness in this dimension requires us to let energy carry us into an increased awareness. That means wake up. Wake up to the divine power that is within you. Wake up to the God presence that is within you, and know that you are not in one place and God is in another place, that your highest self is not in one place and you in another place waiting for your turn to be more of who you are. You are an active agent who needs to be participating in the unfoldment of your soul in such a conscious way that every time you feel some kind of a friction, you don't dismiss it, you welcome it, because you affirmation. We don't need to give it any more power than that. But to ask the question, what is here for me to know about the nature of God? What is there for me to know about the nature of myself? What is there for me to grow in the nature of my unfoldment? What is there for me to release in service to my expanded awareness? What is it that I am becoming by grace? What is grace pushing me toward for my highest and best good? What is grace shining a light on in my experience so that I may dispel the darkness in the corners of my mind? We need to ask the questions and not just dismiss the conflicts and the friction as if they just so happened. When they happened just. Because God is justice. We don't have to look for it in the White House. We can't even look for it in the Department of Justice while the Attorney General is on there making deals about campaigns in Russia. We don't even know who's telling the truth. That means that we can't be lying to ourselves. So in closing, I just want to invite you to just embrace the oneness. To take as many opportunities as you can to be still so that you can know the presence of God. Know the presence of good as your life. Know the presence of love as who you are. Know that you are marching into the spirit of love and you are not afraid. That regardless of whatever it is that may be seeming to stand in your way, that you're continuing to march into the light of your magnificence. Because it is only God, and God only as you, is so very necessary for the up-leveling of this thing that we call life. Namaste.